Hey, how's it going? Hard Times Guy here. What I'm going to do today is put together small sections of video to go with video that I've already made in small sections. I do that sometimes. I set up to shoot some video and I shoot 3 or 4 different ones with the idea of putting those pieces into future videos, even though I don't have a concrete plan for a video like that. I just want to get some things covered. And I shot one here just about a month ago when right after I had that barn sale that I intended to do that with, and I'm going to try to salvage that today. Shoot some video today to go with that and make a whole video out of it. Since I introduced the 4-part format, it fell apart before it even got started. One of the problems I got is I can't get the guys out here today. I told them I was going to shoot a video, and I got Junior. Junior showed up, nobody else did, and I don't know. The guys may not even be a part of future videos. I can't get them to show up or be reliable or, do what they need to do. So if I can't count on them, how can I schedule video shoots to include them? That's, I don't know, neither here nor there, I guess. But right now I'm telling you that I'm having a little trouble with the guys. Junior, he came today, and I told him nobody else showed up. Could probably do without him, and offered to give him some lunch money for showing up. And he said he'd take the lunch money, and but he'd stick around too while I shot the video. And so, thank you, Junior. Junior, I never. You've always been Junior. That's all I've ever known about you. I realized that I don't even know what your name is. Gus. Okay. Gus, and they call you Junior. What's your last name? Gustaverson. Gus? Gustaverson? That's your name? Sounds a lot like Chris Gustaverson. You get that? In fact, what? Your dad's name's Chris? Your dad's name's Chris Gustaverson. Well, how'd you get to be Junior named Gus Gustaverson? Alright. Yeah, your dad didn't, he got tired of that. Everybody called him Gustaverson. And right. Chris Gustaverson, boy named Gus Gustaverson Jr. Okay, well, you learned it the same time I did. I'll just keep calling you Junior. How's that? All right. I think I mentioned that I've got some short pieces of video to put together, and so I'm just going to end this video, get right into that. There's a project I worked on yesterday that started out as a seat from a shallow pew. I think that seat was laying on a table saw somewhere last week, and it inadvertently got in a video. I'm going to go see if I can find that little piece of video and show you what I started with there. But I took that seat and took another piece of a primitive pew that I had leaning up against the wall, made some ends, and then there's a third piece cut out of another piece of a pew. So that's basically 3 different primitive pews there that's been turned into one. That's about 42 inches long and about 30 inches high. I got to go ahead and do a little sanding and then paint it, and that thing will be ready for sale in my booth. A little primitive pew made out of leftovers from 3 other pews that I'd cut down. This is a board that was left over from a shallow church pew that was cut down. In that stack of boards right there There's 1, 2, 3, 4 boards that are salvaged from various primitive church pews, and the one second from the bottom is an example of a Shiloh seat that is a uniform thickness. There's some things left over from last week's yard sale. They weren't anything that the weather was going to hurt, so I hadn't gotten in a hurry to move them. They didn't sell, and getting ready to, I think Betty's going to do a little mowing today. I'll probably help her after a while. So that stuff's going to have to be moved so we can cut the grass underneath it, but I thought I'd take a little picture of it before I got it moved. Had a yard sale last weekend, and what you're looking at there is a blank space on the wall where I sold an old friend. Had a Hard Times original hanging there that I'd had for a long time, and a young man came in, he liked it, and he managed to get it bought, so I got to do something else about that. That's a wall hanging that I made, centered around an old poster from clay pigeon shooting at one of the local clubs that used to host events like turkey shoots and clay pigeon shoots. I don't know where they still have that clay pigeon trap down there anymore and do that. I don't think they do, but I had a couple of those posters. One of them just in a frame, and I sold it in my yard sale last week. And the guy wanted to buy this one too, but it had too much stuff in there that was of a personal and private nature to get rid of it. So I kept this one. Right there below it, there was some Winchester advertising, and sold that to the same guy that bought the poster. He wanted to buy this old Remington calendar. Same problem with that as with the poster I just showed you. I got a bunch of pictures of bird dogs that I used to have, and I think there's a picture of me when I was young and skinny, had dark hair, and only weighed about 170 pounds. So didn't want to lose those, so I couldn't sell that. Right there where that pig's hanging's where that poster I was just talking about was hanging in a frame, and I'm going to have to do something about that too. I don't like that pig hanging there, so I've got to either buy something or create something to go in that hole. Kind of dark over here in this corner, but I had a duck decoy fish bait sign hanging there, and it had been around here a good while too. Didn't expect to ever sell it, but somebody liked it and they bought it, and gonna have to, same situation, I gotta find something to fit in that hole or make something. So if I make it, maybe you'll see me make it, and if I buy it, I'll tell you about that too. What you're looking at there is a corner that looked a whole lot different than this in another part of this video. Showed you a blank space on the wall by that little bookcase that's hanging there, and I showed you where I'd sold a duck decoy fish bait sign that I'd had for some time, and I promised you that I was going to either create something for that space or buy something for that space. And this isn't what I had in mind when I said that, but the other day I bought a corner cupboard, and there it sits, and I set it in that corner, and it just eat up that empty space that I had next to that bookcase. So I'm keeping my promise to you. There it is. Antique corner cupboard standing in the corner where a table and a shelf stood last week. Yeah, that little bench is almost there. Got a couple little issues I got to deal with. Fastener broke out there in the back of the seat. I'm going to have to fix that. Probably going to put another coat of paint on it. Got a few places where it's kind of showing through. All in all, it looks pretty good. It's a good size. got good form. It's real solid construction, good shape, and it's a good color. Well, we're back, and I'm going to continue with the discussion that I've been having about truth today for just a short time, I hope, and I'm going to try to keep it narrow. I have a tendency to get, when I go on a rant, to just go all over the place, and there's so many things that tie together with what's going on in the world today that it's hard not to do that. But today I'm going to try not to. I'm going to narrow it down to one thing, and hopefully over the next few videos I can cover a lot of that ground, but cover it a little bit at a time in a more narrow vein, so that we can stay focused and stay on subject, and me not go all over the map. I had a good friend of mine, his name was Albert Bridwell, and he helped me out a lot of times in a lot of different ways, and I'll talk about him probably in other videos. But one time he told me, he said, "Luke," he said, "you remind me of the young preacher." And I said, "The young preacher? What young preacher?" He said, "The young preacher, the one that when he first started out, he was so tickled to get to preach to somebody. When he got a chance to, he tried to preach the whole Bible in every sermon." And he said, "Sometimes you do that." So today I'm going to try not to preach the whole Bible. I'm going to talk about truth, and I've been trying to motivate you to want the truth and to go a little extra to find the truth, because it's so important to you in making decisions about your life. And making good decisions, as you know, in my mind, is what life is all about. It's whether you succeed or you fail has more to do with the decisions you make than any other thing going on in your life. And today I want to talk about lawlessness. And I'm not even going to talk about all the lawlessness. I'm just going to talk about one aspect of lawlessness that we've been seeing. Chaos, disorder, and lawlessness that we've been seeing. And my mind's racing right now. It's going a lot of different places that I could go, just even trying to be narrow about this. But I'm going to go to one place and challenge you to go find out the truth about what I'm saying. And then I'm going to give you not truth, but opinion. And that's what one of the things that's wrong is. So many people tell you something that might be true, but it's not a truth. It's not a statement of fact. It is their opinion, and I'm going to give you my opinion. But let's start with truth. We have in cities and some locations that aren't cities, all across our country right now, today, and in the past month or 2 months, we have had demonstrations that are represented as spontaneous demonstrations for some cause deemed to be worthy, which are not that at all. They are hoodlums and thugs breaking our laws and getting away with it. Now, that is a truth which I have put before you, and I challenge you to investigate it, to find out if what I just said is a truth or not a truth. These are organized groups taking advantage of situations which most people don't want to argue against the cause, and they're breaking laws and violating other people's rights and causing total chaos in cities and communities across our country for their own gain or their own political agenda, or sometimes just an excuse to go steal a television set or something. I'm representing that, what I just said, as the truth, and I'm challenging you to prove it or disprove it. Now I'm going to give you an opinion. I think my opinion is true as well, but it can't be because it has to, things going on with it that aren't just facts that you can examine. You have to think about what people thought and what people's motivation was and things like that. It can't be a truth. I think it is true, but it's my opinion, and here it is. Let me first say that I have the utmost respect for Dr. Martin Luther King. I think he is a legitimate national hero. And I think the work that he did in the era that he did it was something that took dedication and commitment and bravery beyond the realm. That's what I think of Dr. Martin Luther King and his work. And I said that to say this. My opinion is that he and people close to him and people that were dedicated to his work and what he was trying to accomplish would be nauseated at what's going on today. They would be disgusted by it. They would totally reject what we're seeing going on today in our cities and communities. And people today, in my opinion, who share the respect that I have for Dr. Martin Luther King and what he accomplished should be offended by what's happening today and people trying to act like it's the same kind of thing that happened in Dr. Martin Luther King's time and in his organization. I'm going to stop there because I promised you I'd be narrow. I'll give you something. I've said that what's going on today, the truth about it is it's a criminal act done by criminals and thugs and bullies. And I've challenged you that that is the truth, and if you think something else, go investigate it. And then I've given my opinion of Dr. Martin Luther King, and I've stated that those of you who have the same opinion of him should be offended by what's going on today, and it even being mentioned in the same sentence with the work that he did. I'm the Hard Times Guy. Subscribe to my channel. If you haven't watched my videos, go watch them. Watch all of them. Until the next time.